Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on my channel. It is Kevin here and today we are doing a video inspired by Camp NaNoWriMo. A couple of disclaimers today. Alfalfa, my cat, is playing. You'll probably hear him running around. He's just being very loud right now. And number two, I am very sick right now. I have some kind of stomach bug and then I also think I'm getting some kind of cold. It's awful, so I'm gonna try and make it through this whole video relatively quickly so we can get this done. I apologize if I sound gross. I'm coughing off screen and editing it out. Hopefully. If you have been watching my channel for a while, you will know that last November during regular NaNoWriMo, I did do a spread for that. Started right here, and I did all these things that I had all these good intentions of doing, and I ended up not using any of them. So like my trackers ended up not using, my sprints ended up not using, rewards ended up not using, and it kind of failed, I kind of dropped the ball. I got my book back from my agent, so I had to edit that in the middle of Nano. Well, again, not a lot happened with that one, but because of that, I was inspired to do this again. I have full intention of using these spreads. We're gonna just get into it. I'm gonna talk while filling this out, so hopefully it's not gonna be a mess. I don't know, I've never done this before, talking and doing this. Usually I do a voiceover, but I kind of like when people don't do the voiceovers. I kind of like when people are live and talking. It feels more personal, you know? I am gonna speed up a little bit because I have a feeling that in some parts of this, I will not be able to talk and do this. I'm gonna try really hard, but I'm already starting to get distracted. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is for Nano, I have decided that I'm gonna do live write with me's on my channel every Monday. Now, granted, this is assuming I don't stay sick, because if I'm sick, I have a feeling I'm not gonna wanna do live. Plan as of right now is to not be sick. But I've decided that's gonna be every Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. That is 9 to 10 Eastern. I know it's a little bit later. However, I feel like most people aren't in bed yet. They're just like kind of winding down. So why not get some sprints in at the end of the day, you know? Ooh, there's an alarm going off outside. At some point that alarm's gonna stop going off. Honestly, what is happening out there? I felt like 5 to 6 California time was a little too late because I feel like, oh, that looks really wonky. That's okay. I had a feeling that like 5 to 6 was a little too early in California time, so I felt like people are still like getting off work, people are eating dinner, and I understand again that like the Eastern time might be a little later, but if you can't come, I'll leave them on my channel for people to watch, so you can like rewatch that. And I think it'll be a fun time. I've never done a live write with me, so I don't know if anybody's gonna actually show up. I love going to them, and I've been wanting to do them. In fact, I had an idea to do them every week in 2019, like back in December. Then Brooke Passmore decided to do it. And I was like, oh, but I really like her and I don't wanna like step on her toes. I decided to kind of cut back on that. Well, like just completely, I guess, cancel that idea, at least for now. In the future, I might still do them. I haven't decided yet. I do love going to live write with me's. I can't often make it to Brooke's, but I would like to make it to more of them. But when I do, I'm more of a lurker than a talker. I always have been on live things. Like I really like Twitch and watching people play video games, but I'm not a big talker. If you have live write with me's, it's very possible I'm there lurking in the background like a creep. Very loud out today, can you hear that? Like I really liked during NaNoWriMo when Brooke and Natalia and Mandy Lynn all did their NaNoWriMo like writing sprints. I really like those. I watch those I think every week. It's kind of how I got inspiration too. It's like I really like going to those. I like interacting with people. I like talking to other writers. But I really like interacting with writers and stuff like that. So I wanna do more, I wanted to do live write with me's. So again, that's gonna be from 6 to 7 every Monday. I also chose Monday, even though I think some other people might do some live write with me's on Monday, specifically because it is the first day of Nano. But I don't know, I just really wanna do the first day of Nano. I think it'll be fun. Especially because it's usually like the day I need the biggest kick in the butt. So if you are not part of my cabin on NaNoWriMo, there is only a couple of spots left. I believe it's only like 2 more spots, but we've already started talking in there and I'm really liking so far. I really like talking to other writers. It's like one of my favorite things. There's something about bonding with other people that are into the same things as you that I really enjoy. And I feel like that's how you make friends as an adult, right? Is like finding people, because like you don't have that common denominator of school anymore. So you need to find something that you're all interested in. And for me, that is oftentimes writing. So again, yeah, we started talking on the, we started talking about like what our preps were and stuff, because we started talking like, probably like a week ago now. And it's just super exciting. I'm really excited for everyone that's joined. There's a lot of great people in there and I'm really excited to see all their projects and what's to come. When I get to the other spreads, I'll have more to talk about. This is just more of the cover page, so I wanted to do some brain spilling. Based on the color of this cap, that is not at all the darkness of green I thought I was gonna get out of that. So that's A little disappointing. I do have lighter greens, but too late now. One other thing I want to talk about with Nano is my sister, Laura 2.0. She's always linked in the description below. She's also doing Nano, and I'm still waiting on her text. She has not yet texted me, but I'm like 99% sure she will be joining me for the Write With Me's. I'm not sure if she'll be doing every single one of them. I'm not sure her schedule yet, but as of right now, I know that she'll be doing at least the first one. If not, I'm gonna force her to. If she's like, oh, I can't, I'm busy, I'm gonna be like, well, that's too bad, because I already told my YouTube channel and everyone's so excited. She'll be joining me so that way, because even though I really want to do this, I'm not gonna lie, I am a little like nervous too. I don't know why. Like live stuff is a little nerve-wracking to me. I think it's maybe because it's like, what if nobody shows up and then I'm just talking to myself? But at least if my sister's there to talk to me, it'll be a little bit better. Kind of wishing I hadn't done that, but you know, I think it's a little too late. I'll probably go in later and fill in that white spot because I don't like how that ends up looking, but we're gonna move on for right now because I will get obsessed with that and then we'll never move on with our lives. But again, like I said, there's a lot of cool people in the cabin, and if you don't manage to get a spot and you want one, I apologize. I'm kind of trying to think of a way for next year, because I think you only have 20. I'm not actually sure because I've never been in a full cabin before. I'm trying to think of something maybe for, like if more people want to join and that can't, I want to kind of maybe do something next year that will have more like open spots, I guess, because if you wanted to join, like I don't want to have to turn anyone away because there's something really exciting about talking to people about writing, and I understand what it's like to like be really excited and then kind of be like shut down that you can't do it. If that happens, I'll come up with something, maybe like a Discord or a Slack or something. I've thought about doing a Discord for writers for a long time. I don't know if I'll end up doing one or not, we'll see. I'm kind of getting out of breath and it makes me feel like, oh man, maybe I need to work out, but I'm forgetting that like I am sick and I can't really breathe out of my nose very well. And on top of that, because I'm sick, it's making my asthma really bad. It's gonna look a little splotchy, but you know what? It's okay. I'm not gonna be super crazy about it. I don't know if any of you bullet journal. I know that it's so funny is I already had the plan to do this video, and then Brooke did her like bullet journal inspired vision board video, and I feel like it feels like I'm stealing all of Brooke's video ideas, but I'm really not, Brooke, like I promise. But she was right that I feel like there is like a kind of crossover in the bullet journal and writing community. Like I feel like a lot of writers also bullet journal, and I agree with that. I think that is really like something that a lot of people do. And so I am curious if any of my subscribers, if any of you do bullet journal, because I love bullet journaling and I've been like trying to really hardcore get into it this past like couple months. And like, so I had like a Black Mirror inspired month and stuff like that. So I'm interested if any of you bullet journal. And if you do, comment below, let me know. That sky was a huge mistake. This is starting to look a lot like a little kid's drawing, but I'm okay with that. It's whatever. It's not meant to be perfect. It's not meant to be perfect. I feel like in theory this was way cuter online than it's looking. Whatever, again, we're not gonna be picky. Something else I wanted to talk about is, as excited for Nano as I am, like Camp Nano, I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little worried. I have never actually won Camp NaNoWriMo before. I have, or like completed. I don't like saying won. I feel like that's like when you say won, it makes it sound like, oh, well, if you don't complete Nano, then like you're a loser or something. And I don't like that mentality. I don't think that's true. I've never actually completed camp for various reasons, but you know, I am really feeling like good about this one. I think that having a YouTube channel has really helped me with this actually, being like kind of accountable for myself. And for that, I'm excited because I think I have a better chance of completing this year because I have like people to keep me accountable, and my amazing cabin bunk mates, whatever we're called. Are they cabin mates, bunk mates? I don't remember, but I'm very excited. I think that it's really gonna help me. I'm very excited for all the people that decided to join. It's a lot of awesome people in there. Okay, so here is our spread. Our splash page, whatever they call it. I'm always bad at the words. This is my monthly spread. I do this every month to put in like bills and stuff, but on this one in particular, because I'm working for 40 hours, that's my goal during Nano is 40 hours. I'm not going for a word count goal because I want to treat this kind of like a job this month, and I wanted to do 40 hours. Even though like some people like, you know, 40 hours a week, like I do have a full-time job, so I'm aiming for 40 hours. And so here I have 5, 10, 15, 20, you know, up to 40 hours. Up here I have just my camp scoreboard, which is just my subscriber count. So I don't really have much to say about this spread, so I'm gonna just go ahead and get to it. Something I do want to talk about is originally the plan for this month's spreads was to be Game of Thrones inspired because it is the last season coming out and I love Game of Thrones so much and I'm sad to see it going. I really wanted to do a Game of Thrones spread. I had all these ideas of what I was gonna do and then I decided, you know what? I want to do a camp one. I really like camp even if I've never completed it and I wanted to do this instead. Are any of you Game of Thrones fans? Like, are you excited for the last season? Are you sad? Or like, who do you think's gonna die? Because I have my theories and I'm not happy about them. I guess I didn't explain this. What I'm gonna do also is, as I hit these mile markers, I'm just gonna color them in. That's basically it. But Game of Thrones, okay. I have not yet started reading the books, but they are on my reading goal list for this year, is to read through all of the ones that are out so far. I think that might be a hefty goal for me because I've heard that some of those books can take like weeks to get through. And if you don't know, I'm part of a book club with my sister Laura over on her channel. We read a book a month and we talk about it live on her YouTube channel. And that is once a month. And then I also am reading other books once a month because I do have a goal of hitting 50 books this year. And I think that throwing in Game of Thrones on top of that might have been a little overeager on my part. However, I'm still gonna try and get as many done as possible because I really do like them and I really want to write my fantasy book this year. That's my goal in the like third and fourth quarter of the year, which I do have a quarterly goal video coming out on Thursday. My goal for the third, fourth quarter of this year is to draft up my fantasy novel, my adult fantasy novel. As excited for that as I am, I was out of the fantasy game for a long time. I've talked about this before, but when I was younger and I started to get older, I felt like there was like this pressure. It was probably like my own, like I don't think it was a real pressure. I don't think anybody actually made me feel like this. I had this like feeling that like as an adult, I couldn't be into fantasy things. And so for the longest time, I like stopped reading fantasy and I stopped like playing fantasy video games and things like that. But now that I'm older, I'm like, you know what, whatever, who cares? And so I'm getting back into like fantasy and stuff like that. One of the other series I'm wanting to read, speaking of fantasy, is, I don't remember what it's called. The first one's called Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I read the first one. My friend Bridget gave me the first three. Cause when I told her I was getting back into fantasy, she was like, you have to read these. And I was like, okay. And then she like asked for my address and sent them to me on Amazon. I have the first three and I've read the first one and I loved it. So I do plan on continuing those this year as well. I actually think I'm gonna read one soon because I'm really missing Fitz. I really like Fitz. I really like Hobbs, like how she writes also. I watched an interview with her and George R. R. Martin once. And I'm quite a fan of her as well. Although, apparently she said some things about some of her characters online that like people shipped to the characters together and she was not very open to that idea. And I just felt like that was, I feel like George R. R. Martin's actually similar. He's like very anti-fanfiction. And I just feel like fanfiction actually, in my opinion, helps, right? I mean, it gets your story out more. People could fall in love with the fanfiction and turn to the real thing. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't have any published work yet, so very possible that I'm just talking on my butt right now. But in my opinion, you think it would help. And I understand where he's coming from. I guess they like feel like, oh, if you want to be like a traditionally published writer, that you should focus on your own craft. But like, I feel like, isn't that helping? Like, isn't writing better than no writing, even if it's not? I don't know. Am I wrong? You can comment below and let me know. I don't know. I feel like people are really up in arms about fan fiction. I'm not really into it anymore. I used to read and write it when I was younger. I'm not really, like again, I'm not into it that much anymore, but I don't have anything against it. I just have so little time to read that like, I'm trying to get through a lot of other stuff. I wanted this to look like a little like corkboard. I don't know if that worked right, but I tried, you know, and that's what matters, making a little corkboard. Did that make it look worse? It doesn't matter. This bright light is actually kind of making me nauseous, which is unfortunate because I'm not even close to being done. I mean, I was already nauseous, but I'm not gonna worry about erasing all these pencil lines right now. This is something I always do, is I always go back and erase the pencil lines, but for sake of time, I'm gonna leave them for now. But I feel like I kind of got off on a tangent there about fan fiction and stuff. But again, if you have any fantasy book ideas, I don't want to steal your fantasy ideas. If you have any fantasy like recommendations, I will 100% take those because, again, I'm getting back into this. I'm been out of it for years, and I feel like I could go for having some friends that are fantasy readers as well. Because my sister Laura, it's not really her favorite. Like, she doesn't mind like some fantasy, but like she doesn't like high fantasy. And my boyfriend Damien isn't really into fantasy either. And so luckily my friend Bridget is, but she has read like a bunch that I haven't. And she like reads like a lot of, I think, obscure ones, but she would probably claim otherwise. If she ever watched this, she's gonna drag me. Again, if you have any recommendations for me, I was more than happy to take them. This is so much brighter than I thought it was gonna be. Yeah, this is way brighter than like what an actual fire would look like. Should I put yellow in that? I'm like afraid to like how bright this is gonna be. I'm actually very excited because if you didn't watch my earlier video about like what my plans were for the year, first of all, go back and watch it and then come back and finish this video. My first goal was to finish the draft of my YA contemporary novel, which is what I'll be working on in Camp NaNoWriMo. And then I plan on next working on a middle grade. I don't know what I'd call it. It's not a fantasy. It's a middle grade, like contemporary with some fantasy elements. I plan on working on that next. After that is going to be my fantasy novel. And what I really like about the cabin is I'm actually meeting a lot of people who write things that I used to only exclusively write YA. Like, in fact, at this point, I think I have only written YA. So I've never actually written outside of young adult, but my goal is to, obviously, this year, to branch out and try some new things. And what I like about the cabin is that it's a mix of people. I would say a majority of people in there are, in fact, writing young adult. However, I believe Lindsay Puckett, who has a YouTube channel, and I will go ahead and link her in the description below. I believe she said she's working on her middle grade. And that's exciting because I like to surround myself with writers, obviously, as much as possible. I mean, my boyfriend's a writer and illustrator, so I like to surround myself with them. And it's gonna be exciting to like see people like writing different things besides just YA, because it's just like what I've been surrounded by a lot in the past. And I'm gonna put in my bills and stuff, which you can see on my last monthly one, put in my bills. Now, this is an exact copy of what I used last year. I wanted to use for a Nano and I didn't end up using because I did not use Nano that much. Here's the thing, I did do Nano, I did complete it, but I didn't use the spreads. It was a very, very busy month. If you want to go back and watch those, you can. Because another reason why I want to do these live write with me's on my channel is I do really well in writing sprints. In fact, like my second book, the entire first draft was written in writing sprints. Like I don't do well sitting down writing for like 8 hours. Sprints are where it's at. So I'm gonna basically copy this over because I wanna keep track of like how my sprints are going. This is supposed to be a hiking boot. I don't think it turned out very well. You may wonder why there's so much brown, but also, I just realized I didn't do this. The reason why I'm doing a lot of brown is because I wanted to do like, again, like the woodsy, like, oh, it's camp and I don't know. I'm trying to like do like that throughout. But again, date, time, words, I will do like lines across when I actually do it. Even though I'm not going for words, I do like to like see how the sprints are going for me. This next page is just my habit tracker. As you can see, I drew some arrows for like camp, like bow and arrow, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not gonna show myself doing this one just because my habit tracker is very difficult to make. Like as you can see right here, it is, which I never even end up finishing them, so I don't know why I do them anymore. I really like doing them, even though I don't finish them. I'm not gonna show myself doing this. It's just, it's so difficult to do. I don't know why I torture myself. I tried doing it a little differently last month, and even that was torture. Yeah, even this was torture last month, and obviously stopped using it again. So what's the point in continuing to make it? I don't know, because I hate myself apparently. Here is my brain dump page. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna show myself because I wanna focus on the nano ones, but a brain dump is literally just that. I just do a page where if I wanna write anything down that I don't wanna forget, I write it down here. Next is my doodle page, which Cindy Guntart Baldo does a rando doodle every month. This month's was Pokemon. As you can see, I'm very far behind. Next month's gonna be SpongeBob. Again, I'm gonna skip over that because we're here for the nano stuff. And these are the last nano spreads. These are gonna be two different trackers of where I'm at. Now, I know some people are gonna say like, why do you need two trackers? And I'll tell you why. Let me show you during nanos. So the reason why I am doing 2 different ones is because I want to see where I'm at total for the month and see like, oh, am I at 4 hours, 5 hours, blah, blah, blah. And I also want to see how I'm doing daily. Now, this may seem like overkill, but you know what? It probably is. And I'm gonna do it anyway. My battery is dying, but what this is gonna be is it's gonna be the same as last month's, where I'm just gonna do this, and then this month's gonna be a little different. So instead of actually showing me do all this, I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead since my battery's dying and this video is getting long enough. I'll skip to when they're done and I'll show you. Okay, here we are now back that I'm done. I'm not gonna lie, I had to take a break because I'm feeling very, very nauseous and sick. I can't turn this ring light back on because it's making me feel even worse. So I apologize about the bad lighting for these last 2 pages, but I'm trying to get through this as best as possible. Again, I wanted these to kind of look like board game pieces. I don't know if I said that earlier, but that's what I was going for. So again, here are these different colors. If I write less than a half hour to 1 hour, and more than an hour, I will color these in as I go along. I realized I did an extra square on both days, or both spreads, but you know, whatever. These kind of look like Monopoly pieces, but these are gonna be where I write the hours that I'm at, like total, and then this is per day. So again, it may be overkill for some people, but I really like seeing my progress per day. I'm a visual person, so I like to see how I'm doing. I like to see just how things are written out. So I think the sprint one and these ones will be really good for me to be able to see how I'm doing. Even though I could see it on the website, there's something about writing it down that makes me feel like, yes, you know, does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. I also messed up a little bit here and there, but again, I had to take a break. I'm not feeling great right now. Feeling very sick. That's all the spreads. Again, I skipped over some of the ones that don't really pertain to nano because, again, you're here for the nano stuff, right? The more I look at this, the more it looks like maybe like I have a little kid who did this for me, and that's okay. It's not the best thing ever, it's not the worst thing ever, and we're gonna go with it. But here they are again. The main page, my monthly spread where it says just the full hours for the month. My sprint log, which I will be filling out probably live on camera as we do the Monday sprints. And then my 2 trackers. So if you are doing any kind of bullet journaling for NaNoWriMo, either comment below and let me know, or let me know like what your channel is so I can check it out if you did a video on it. I'm interested to see how other people are going about this because I really like to like visualize my progress. And so I'm interested to see what other people are doing. So again, if you're doing this, go ahead and comment below and let me know. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching, everybody. I will have a new video up hopefully on Thursday, maybe on Friday, depending on how I'm feeling. Again, there'll be live Write With Me sprint thingies every Monday during Camp Nano from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's it for this video. So thank you for watching, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button if you liked the video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you loved it. And comment below, let me know if you are doing nano and like how excited are you? Because I'm like so excited. I'm ready to get started, but I can't get started yet. But thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you hopefully on Thursday, maybe Friday.